Hello everyone, and thank you very much for joining me. I, of course, am Rotype, and I'm back here with MouseGunner in our Factorio guided series, where last episode we started to talk about blueprints and then decided we'd save that for this episode. So this episode, we get to talk about blueprints and automated construction and all of that fun stuff. And we may not finish talking about it, but we can get a good primer on what the deal is. So the very first question, Mouse, as a... Ooh. I don't know if you just got an achievement. I just got an achievement.
No, I didn't.
The very first... Oh, well, I'm special, so I get an achievement. The very first question Mouse had, who, not having dealt with blueprints before, was how do I get a blueprint? And so I'm going to hide this one that I have to pretend I don't have any blueprints. And last episode, we talked about a little bit about the blueprint library pushing B. And you get this library, and anybody who's in the game, if you're in a big multiplayer game, you can have tons of people here on the left, and you can see all of their blueprints. Now, Mouse doesn't have any blueprints, so I can't see any there, but he can see mine. He'll see probably the 3 books. So if you look carefully, the bus management, it kind of abbreviates the name, production, just called production, and rails, they're all kind of books, not necessarily like sheets of paper. They're more... they're that same icon that new blueprint book button has. And that's because that's how I have set up my personal blueprints. Now, anybody can do it their own way. And to do that, you simply just push these buttons. New blueprint puts one in your hand. So now you have it, same as you're holding a piece of coal or whatever. And if you hit B again to close the blueprint library, now you have a blueprint in your hand. If you queue out, and you just clear it from your hand, it goes into your inventory. So mine just went onto my toolbar because I had an open space, and it just looks like a blue square. You brought up a good point last episode. It kind of looks like the reserved spaces, but not quite. It's an item. So now you have this blueprint, and while we're at it, I'm going to go back into the blueprint library and make myself a destruction planner as well, which is the red one. And I'm just going to clear that again. And so now on my toolbar, I have a blue square and I have a red square, and they're just kind of sitting there. Now to blueprint something, you grab the blue square and you drag a box around whatever you want to copy. It's basically a copy. So we were also talking last episode about how the blue science recipe has changed, and now we need engine units over there. Well, I've already built this engine unit column here, and it works just fine. So I want to do it again. I want another one. So I'm going to go ahead. I have my blueprint thing in my hand, and I'm just going to draw a box around the whole engine column. And I'm also going to get the pipe and gear factory as well, because I know they're there just for this engine column. And I actually did not copy everything I wanted, but I'll let go. And when you do that, it pops up a new window here, and you'll see everything that you selected, and on top it'll say a couple things. Choose icons. Those are just what you want the little mini icon to look like. You can put whatever icon you want. Doesn't have to do anything with what you copied. You can put lubricant and the signal 0 on it. It doesn't matter. And then on the right there, it'll say components. So you'll see everything that would be required to build that blueprint if you pasted it somewhere else. Or I guess another thing is, if I were wondering, how many belts do I have there? You can take a blueprint and you'll see there 84 for the particular selection that I've come up with. You can do a few other things. You can rename the blueprint with a little pencil icon. The box with the arrow pointing out will export a string, this really, really long list of letters and numbers. So if you want to share with people online or something, you can do it that way. That used to be the only way to share blueprints. Now we have this library, but I don't really use that often, but it's there. And then to actually save the blueprint, this is kind of important because some people forget. Normally when you have like a GUI window open and you want to leave the GUI window, you'll push like Q or E or something. If you do that, you won't actually save the blueprint. So you do have to go up to that little green checkbox, and then you push it and you created the blueprint. So I assume you're kind of following along and have something copied. Now your mouse will have all of these things on it. Mm-hmm. You see that? So yep. Now I'm placing, or I'm trying to place, I have the option to place what I just copied. and I can do a couple things. I can place it, or I can now push Q to clear my hand, and now it's gone. But you'll see in your taskbar, you'll have the blue square, but it'll have those little whatever icons you picked will be there. And so if you want to then, you can save it, you carry it around all day, and then, 6 hours later, I want to paste that blueprint, you push it again, and there it is. You don't have to remember it. You don't have to do it again. You have it. It stays with you. So for placing, this is unfortunately a little too wide for the space I wanted to place it. So I'm just going to go up here and use it as an example. Yep, there you go. Just click. Now, another thing that's good to know is there are a couple different colors while you're hovering. So if you line up, depending on how you copied things, if you line up things with an existing set of like assembling machines or transport belt, you get the purple. And that's kind of to say this is in your blueprint, but it's already there. And so you can kind of paste on top of things that are already there, no complaints. If you get red tint, that means it can't match it. Like there's something different. It's not a perfect match with what you're trying to paste on top of it. And normally it won't let you paste when you do that. When you get a little bit of red, it won't paste. But if you hold a shift and paste, it will paste everything that it can, which usually means, if there's, let's just say one piece of transport belt that's red, it'll paste everything except for that one transport belt. And you'll have to go, deal with whatever that problem is, why it wasn't the same. So that's how you paste and kind of override paste different blueprints. And this can be super handy because not only can you save your layouts, you can also have robots build them. So now they're just, we talked about this a little bit last episode. Now they're just kind of a ghost image and you can kind of go through and build it yourself. Just a helpful reminder. In a little bit, we'll have robots and they will come in and do the building for you. So if you make this big complicated layout, or even if you steal the blueprint string from somebody on the internet who made this complicated layout, you then don't have to go through and do all the work. You can just paste it and robots will come in and do it for you. So that's pretty handy. Let's see, what else? I suppose we should talk about the deconstruction planner. I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. You just kind of mark things for deconstruction. Now, if I can do it to this belt here, and you see it gets these X's, and that says, marked for deconstruction. Nothing else happens right now because we have no robots. If we had robots, they would come pick this stuff up and deconstruct the belt. If you want to undeconstruct, you hold shift and deconstruct, and it removes the deconstruction. So that's that. You can also do it to ghost images to clear out things.
Shift undoes. Okay, got it.
Yep. And so that's the deconstruction planner. That's another handy tool, especially like I said, once you have robots, you command them. So these are your two primary robot commanding tools. You want them to build stuff and you want them to deconstruct stuff. And the deconstruction planner, I should also mention, is fantastic for clearing forests if you have robots, because you can just deselect huge swaths of forest and then run away. And the robots, if you have them, which we unfortunately don't, will just slowly and methodically disassemble the entire forest. It's one of the better ways to get rid of trees. So let's see. This is actually, not a half bad place to do this. We can build, let's see, I'll bring this line up, and this can be our what are these called? Engine units for science. And actually, while we're talking about robots, I'm going to go into the research page and research robots so we can get going, because the game really opens up, I think, when you get robots, because your complicated layouts really become feasible only when you can get robots to help you out. Let's see. There we go. So now once we get engines and we have the miners already, I will just add the miners to the red circuit line. And we should have blue science back up and running shortly. Clear all this. I'm gonna have so much junk in my inventory after all this. And okay. Another thing I suppose we can talk about, because this was not in the 0.14, is the eyedropper mod. Not mod. This is actually in vanilla. Somebody has expanded on it with the mod, but this is in vanilla, where if you mouse over anything, including blueprints, and push Q, you get that thing in your hand. You don't have to go rooting around your inventory. So if I hover over this assembling machine and push Q, I get an assembling machine. I can then place it. If I hover, anything, just push Q. If you don't have it, obviously you won't get it. But if you have it in your inventory, you'll get it.
And this is the sound it makes when you don't have it. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but
Yes.
it's making a noise.
I hate that sound. That sound is the worst. That I think is one of the main reasons I have, well, maybe not the main reason, but one of the main reasons I have long reach, just because I hate that stupid burnout sound. It's so annoying. But it's nice because one of the more things that I couldn't have told you it was tedious, but now that I don't have to do it, I can tell you it's tedious, is like, oh, I want another fast inserter, but I don't have it pegged to my toolbar. So I got to push E, and then I got to go find, okay, what order are these sorted in? But if I'm standing next to one, I just push Q and I got one. I don't have to worry about it.
Oh, do we need
Little
steel?
quality of
I
life
forget.
things. Yes, we
need
do.
a line. Okay, I'll figure that out.
Yeah, so the one, it copies the, when you do a blueprint, it copies the assembling machine recipes, but obviously you have to remember, what was on the belt that was there, because it won't copy the belt contents. Let's see, what else do we want? Let's keep marching towards robots because they will make things easier. So I'm going to keep doing some robot tech. Oh, I'm out of assembly machines. I don't even remember. It's been so long. Oh, here I am running away from the assembly machines. They're right here in front of me. There we go. So the nice thing about this research revamp is we're not really doing military yet, so we don't have to worry about that. And the high-tech stuff, obviously we'll need eventually, but once we get this kind of easier blue science setup, I mean, it's not easier for us because we got to redo an old setup, but once we get blue science set up, we'll be good for quite a while to kind of play around with a lot of the extra things that are going on. We also conveniently researched a lot of what will be other science tech before they changed it and requires other science packs. Let's see, how are we doing down here? It looks like we have an iron shortage. You can always tell somebody's thinking hard in Factorio when they're standing still.
Oh, I went too far.
I'm gonna go see what's up with the iron. Oh, I know what's well, and another problem that we're having, unrelated to the iron.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, okay.
Anything that's broken?
It is broken, yes. It's another thing the 0.15 patch broke. It's a simple fix, but it is broken. Let's see what is going on down here. Why don't we have any iron? Oh, it looks like we are just kind of running out of iron, period. But the train is not running.
Okay. I'm closest to the train, so I'll go see what's going on with it.
Oh, wait, I'm in
is
the
train
train
on your side or my side?
I am in the train.
Oh, okay. Good.
Oh, it's so slow. Another thing they added, this is not anything critical, but another thing they changed in the 0.15 patch is different kinds of fuel has different, what did they call it? I believe they termed it vehicle acceleration. I don't know, metrics. So if you fuel your vehicle with wood, it has an acceleration metric of, 1.0 or whatever. If you fuel it with solid fuel, I believe solid fuel is 120%, 1.2. You can now, I don't think you used to be able to, but you can now put rocket fuel in locomotives and it gives them like a 150% speed boost or something. So it's, like I said, not that important, but kind of fun. I believe this is going to go to the wrong station, and that's the issue that we've been having. Actually, I'm going to disable it. Oh, didn't work. Didn't whack fast enough. There we go. Okay, I disabled the non-functional station, so this should not work. And eventually what we need to do, we started talking about this a couple episodes ago, is we need to get the single-headed, unidirectional train operational, because that will just set things up a lot faster.
Okay, so you just broke the track, more or less.
Yep, because I didn't want it going this I should pick up this station. It was actually just completely non-functional because all the inserters are connected to the other one. We don't need this at all. And like I said, soon we'll just get the single-headed train running. Whoops, that was a mistake. But for now, that will at least get some iron in the system. So now that you're over here, I'll go down this way a little bit and talk about the other thing that is broken from the 0.15 release. It's just down here in the oil section. Let's see. Here we are. So if you'll remember, we did this kind of logistics network pumping where I put 2 pumps in the pipes and set each of them to only operate when there was above some amount. Well, pumps are now bigger. So you can see they used to be that 1-to-1, but if I place it again, you'll see it's now bigger. It's
Much
now
bigger,
a
yeah.
2x1. So these are doing that same thing the boilers were doing, that kind of clipping together stuff. The theory still holds. You can still do the 2 of them. Well, not like that. We have to give it a little extra space, but the same kind of logic network stuff applies. We just had to fix the pumps because they weren't actually functioning. So I will do this to connect them, and now you can see they're functioning. They get the new graphics and the new animations, which are kind of cool. And then I'll just go ahead and apply the same logic we used to have. If petrol is greater than... Oh, another thing I think they did was, for some reason, I don't know why, they multiplied all the liquid counts by, it was either 10 or 100, some really big number, because I think it worked better in their, some kind of algorithm or something. But they applied it across the board. So all the recipes cost 10 times more, fluids, and you get 10 times more from the pump jet. So, it doesn't actually affect anything, but you look now, I don't know how used to it you were, but we have like 14,000 petroleum gas, which to me, I'm used to the old numbers, is like a huge number, but you see how quickly it's draining. So something to note if you're used to the old numbers. All right, so now we're making plastic again. So that's good. Okay, so we solved the iron problem, solved the plastic problem, we solved the blue science problem. So I think we're almost back to where we were. Let's see, we're still not making blue science. Why is that? Because we have no iron here. Why is that? Because we're just low on iron. Okay, so we need to build up some more iron, but looks like we do have this all kind of ready to go. Talked about blueprints.
Close to the end of this episode, so maybe we'll just wrap things up and we'll wait for the iron to show up.
Yeah, that sounds good. We can probably do a few little optimizations off camera. So with that, I want to thank you all very much for watching. My name's been Roadtype, he's been MouseGunner, and we'll see you next time.